Greetings and salutations, everyone. It is time for the Desecrated Temple of All here on the road most traveled. I pointed out between video recordings that we're probably going to end up being forced to level after this quest, and we're probably going to leave somewhere between 5 and 10,000 experience on the floor. Traditionally, when I am playing Dungeons and Dragons Online, I try to get as close as I can if I'm banking, as close as I possibly can to the end of a bubble without going over. But because we're trying to cram as many quests in this playthrough, I'm kind of ignoring that rule a little bit now. So apologies if you want to know why we're doing it that way. That's just it. That's why. All right. So spinny blade traps.
The hallway ahead screams of
Oh, how do we get through this? A couple of ways we could run through. Not the worst option. On Reaper mode, they will hurt pretty good. Or you can try this method of jumping through these little holes right here. I sometimes have a really hard time making the jumps, but it's better than taking damage, right? That being said, if your evasion's pretty good, you have lots of hit points, or you have reasonable amount of self-healing, or like a good hireling with you, as long as you make it, you win, right? I do find that the larger characters tend to get hung up making these jumps. If you do get hung up, just do a combination of jump and tumble, and you'll typically make your way through. Alright, so we have trap boxes on either side here, as well as a trap box back here on this back wall for these doodads. Alright, so let's take a second to talk about our enemies in this quest, because it's going to be important. First of all, they are shadows. And as we've talked about many times before, shadows can lower your strength and give you the taint of shadow. At this point in the game, you should have somewhere in the 25 to 30 strength range. Without working on it very hard, I have a 31 strength. Okay? It's not been my focus. I did, however, make sure that I have a strength item on. So, you should be able to get a pretty reasonable strength as well. That doesn't mean you can't still die with Taint of Shadow, but it does mean that you need to keep that in mind, especially if you're a strength-based character, that you could be taking a lot of strength damage. Second of all, shadows don't take fire damage, which means when you start to see these shadows pop up, you want to make sure that you're not throwing fireballs on them because they're immune. Now, one last thing that's kind of important is around these chests that we need to go get. We have to go get keys to unlock pillars. We'll talk about that in a second when we get back to one. But we have to go in these two different directions to get this key. When we go to pick up a key, in addition to a handful of shadows that will spawn, there will also be a quail. The dangerous thing about quails, if you are a divine spellcaster, is that you could get quailed, which means that you cannot cast your divine magic spells. You can still cast scrolls, you can still use wands, but you can't use divine magic. So keep that in mind. You can get an intervention ward, which is what the quelling is called. That's the proper name for it. And you can get a special greatsword that drops, I think from this quest, that has intervention ward on it, so you cannot be quelled while it's equipped. So if you are a divine spellcaster, you may or may not consider getting your hands on one. So there's our handful of trash. There's our quell. Quell also casts other hurtful spells, but the main thing that makes quells dangerous is the separating divine people from their magic. Alright, we'll pick up our gold key. These traps should all be down. They should just be graphical bugs if you've done this trap. So we just walk through, pick up our collectible. Continue walking through because we disarmed these traps when we did this side and this side. And we can just walk back out. If you did not do the traps, you can cast D-Door, or you can jump back through the gateways like last time. So now, I mentioned that you have to get keys. Well, these are control boxes, and you can tell they have little keyholes. Now,
The catacombs are sealed.
no!
Intricately locked boxes.
The box only opens when you have the key that goes to the opposite side. So this box opens with the key on that side, and this key only opens when you, or that, blah blah blah. That box only opens when you get the key from this side. There used to be a period a long time ago that you only needed to do one side, but you had to get 2 keys. Which means if somebody else was in the quest with you, you could get a gold key, they could get a gold key, and then you had both keys.
A long hall
And you're good.
ominously before you.
Now, the strategy that I tend to take down this hallway is to try to stay in a position where I'm not getting shot by these traps, and yet I run all the way to the end. Well, not all the way to the end, but around the corner. Around the corner, we'll let these bad guys come get us here. Disable this trap box, control panel. They are not chasing us at all. Must have jumped over them before they finished spawning the right way. So again, we see a strong box. It's the same kind of strong box on the other side. So come in, cast your spells. Pop the quell first if you're a divine caster, or you have a lot of fears for quells, and then work on your Tainted Shadows. Once the bad guys are distracted or dead, loot your silver key, grab your collectible, and then we're going to start walking backwards. The reason we're going to walk back is because these spinny blades, even though you don't see them spinning, they are in fact traps with trap boxes, and we can just disable those along the way. Same thing right here. Trap boxes along the way. Get things disabled. And now we have Ingenious Debilitation. We don't have to worry about any more traps. Pretty smooth. Alright, jump back in, swim back through, or we could D-Door, whichever you prefer. And we're going to take a crack at falling down below this big blue force field of doom. Ah! Okay, I wasn't worried about it, clearly. But if you are, you want to make sure that you take the time to shrine, heal up. There's a shrine up there. A lot of us tend to keep it in case we need to just Thor work through this healing curse. It does. Nice. Hell Masters for the win, baby. Most of us tend to save that shrine as an easy way to like D-Door back up to Enshrine. Right here, you want to make sure that you have a Death Ward running or Death Block. They like to neg level. They also like to insta-kill. Especially that red name Quail, so keep an eye on him. He's mean. If you get in trouble, run behind the break line of sight. Take a second to heal up, or summon your hireling or whatever. Get healed. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Let me go ahead and get rid of this healing curse, just so I don't have to see the dot above my head. We want to go over here to this rainbow force field, but the shield is up. Alright, so we pull this lever, read the quest log, slay vampire clergy, optional destroy offerings to Vol. Okay. So we're going to wander around and see if we can find some vampire priests, apparently. There's a lot of vampire spawns. How many vampire priests are there? And you're going to notice a couple of things we activated here. One, when we break these offerings to Vol, the shadows of Vol are spawning. And two, this door closed on us. We're going to get situations where doors are going to close on us. We're also going to get situations where there's going to be a closed door, but the game is clipped in such a way it's hard to tell, and you're just going to run into nothing, and then turn sideways, and you'll be able to see that there is, in fact, a door down. Okay, so keep that in mind. Man, way back in the Wayback Machine, we used to send runners to run through these hallways to get the bad guys aggro, and then we'd pull everything back to casters in the middle that just spam like firewalls and ice storms, blade bears, whatever. Different times. There's a random strongbox throughout the quest somewhere. It goes in any of these like little side rooms. There's no rhyme or reason to it that I've ever been able to tell, so just keep an eye out for it. Alright, I think we may have found our first priest. And you can tell because he's busy praying to... Oh, no, still just a spawn. Oftentimes you'll see the priest praying to the big Vol statue. Alright, here's a shrine. That's, again, one of the big reasons people tend to go east first is to clear the shrine. As well as, we're gonna walk this way a little bit, and we're going to notice a secret door. What?
Vol's voice whispers in your ear. Turn back.
We open said secret door, a bunch of weeps are gonna spawn. We're gonna shoot them. This door is locked, so we're just gonna pick it. We see a strange, swirling force field of doom. What can that possibly mean?
Spew from the portal ahead of you.
Huh, okay. Let's investigate it. We're in darkness. There's a couple of inevitables. Let's just clean it up here. Inevitables are going to spawn 2 at a time through this zone. Firewall, ice storm, whatever you like. We're gonna take out several of them, and finally we're just gonna magically kill the last one right now, and we just teleport back to Vol, and there's a chest. What chest, pray tell? It's the shield chest for this quest, and we got another shield fragment. Look at that. So again, in the Wayback Machine, for those of you who haven't, this is the first one of these videos that you may have watched. A long time ago, we're going to get stuck over here in the... This is a thing that can happen to you. You can get stuck in with this environmental effect that doesn't go away. It's going to make the quest darker, as well as it's going to impose a healing penalty to me. Thankfully, I'm undead and I can heal myself pretty okay without positive healing. But it being so dark is very annoying. We have to rely on the map to see. That's a bit of a bummer. Hey, there's a priest. And it's an Archon priest. My 2 favorite things as an undead monstrosity. We're going to break some bases. So I do apologize for the overwhelming darkness. It should not be like this. This effect should have gone away. But, unless we're going to restart the quest for a little bit of extra darkness, I think we'll try to push on. Again, we're going to rely heavily on the map for navigation here. So please keep part of an eye on, part of an eye there. Lots of little shadows along the way. Fungus. And then this room right here, it looks like we have a Reaper. The scariest part of this quest with this effect underway is going to be these Reapers now, probably. They're just going to fade away into the darkness. Thought that was 81 for a second. 65 is not bad.
The visage of the lady gleams from the ceiling.
Let's cast an AoE for all these bats. Looks like we have 4 offerings to go. I thought I picked up this lost soul. Gimme. Gimme, I want it. We still have 4 vampires to go. We have finished half of the little loop here, right? 1, 2, 3. So we kind of have a rough idea what to expect for the next half here.
An orb shot as you pass through another round. You feel a world begin slowly building in the past.
Looks like we spawned another bonus chest as well as a fragment. Nice. Alright, 1, 2, and then 1 more.
The last
Alright, so that
offering
cleans up our
explodes
experience.
in a
How
shower
close are
of
we to breakables? We're already at Vandal, which means we might as well finish it off. This is one of the few quests that I kind of try to keep an eye out for stuff like that. But I'm not very good at always remembering to do to kind of do that. The nice thing, in my opinion, about quests that breakables are the optional is that it gives you like double incentive to kind of to do both. Which is why I'm more inclined to do breakable optionals than I am pretty much any of the other optionals. They're like double value. Clean up the trash. How we doing on, guys? We're ransacked now, so I'm not going to break anything else. Done breaking stuff. A fungus patch, some rats, and a reasonable amount of the time you'll find a guy over here in this corner praying. In front of this collectible. Alright, 1 more left. Over here. So far we've been lucky and not gotten another door slammed in our face. Another Vampire Archon. And what is this? Monsters don't care about making Sense Day? It was a really long day. I'm gonna watch this Soul of Cruelty bat. Real easy for something like that to hit us numerous times and give us a big old dot. Oh, never mind. There's a door. This door we should have been able to see if it wasn't for the negative effect. Kind of playing with this here. So, in the darkness, running back may be longer than taking the D door, but we're gonna just go this way anyway. As we pass through here, there'll be rats that spawn. Clearly, giant rats are not a big deal. Alright, let's talk about this room for a second. So we have a High Priest of all and several honor guards. Now, if we've listened to the various stories, We know that we're trying to convince this high priest to come play with us. However,
The high priest.
he's like, wait, you're definitely working with the Black Abbot, not trying to stop him. So he wants to kill us, and we need his help to defeat the Black Abbot. So we're gonna have to beat down these vampire honor guards to get his assistance.
The high priest congratulates you.
See?
He will
The lady told me someone was coming I figured to be a true follower. So he's going to help us out with the Black Abbot. We're going to loot our chest. Get our kind of cool dagger. And our sigil piece. There we go. That's Litany of Blood. Or just blah blah. Just Temple of All. Litany of Blood. I don't know where all those words came from. Yeah, this quest tends to be a really fast XP quest. Like I said, we got 32,000 regular experience and 545 Reaper experience first time through. If you have teams, obviously there's really good ways to split up. One person goes left, one person goes right at the keys. Both people clear their keys and come back to the middle. Continue through. Then you have the diamond-ish shape. One person goes left, one person goes right. Meets in the middle. Walk back together after clearing out the 5 vampires. And then finish the quest. You can shave that quest time in half. We took 20 minutes doing all the optionals and everything. But that's like a 7-minute quest when it's all said and done. So, alright everyone, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, etc., please slam them down in the comment section. And of course, while you're slamming things, slam that thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. We'll see you really soon. Thanks for watching. Toodles.